Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. This season's Elite Showdown allows you to use the Toyota GR Supra. Now, if you are a newer player, of course, your Supra might not be fully elite, but this is one of those cars that once in a while comes up as the apex car for a showdown, and it's a good opportunity to use it. The Elite Tuner GR Supra has kind of a mixed reputation with players, right? A lot of people struggle with it. Some people like it, but generally speaking, I like this car. And when it's finally used for a showdown, it's definitely something I want to make use of. Now, the thing about this car is that you need to be careful how you utilize it. Assuming you have a fully max, fully elite GR Supra, which a lot of players do now, to really get far in showdown would require you to be able to drive it to generally get 6.9 runs. Meaning, if you're running 7.0 and up on average, you're going to struggle a little bit as you move up further and further into the rankings. But if you're going to be able to run 6.9s, you can get pretty far. So I'm making a run for a 6.9 type average, and I'm going to try to make a run for the higher trophies. Let's see how it goes. Now, I'm already at 1400 plus, so obviously I've had decent success so far. This is the kind of numbers you're looking for, this and better. 6.97 I think is what I would consider to be baseline decent numbers to have a good average against other opponents, assuming other opponents are using the GR Supra Apex car as well. So why do I say the GR Supra have mixed reviews from people? For Tempest, it's excellent. For map racing, it's excellent. For when it's apex car in the showdowns, additional excellent. But people struggle with this car in setting up for live racing because not because the car is bad, but because this car beats dyno. And when you have a car that beats dyno and you are racing it in live and you're driving it hard, a lot of times what happens is you're forgetting that the game is tracking what you're doing. Okay, and when it tracks it and sees you're constantly beating dyno, it'll put you against faster and faster opponents. The only way to keep the GR Supra viable in live racing long term is, one, don't use it in the way that where you push it all the way without slowing down. You cannot run this car all out in live and expect it to survive. It just doesn't. The other thing is this car is kind of weird in that once you put in stage 6s, it seems to not lobby so well. So one of the better builds in live for this car is actually without stage 6s. I've had pretty good success in high 9s, mid 10s with this car in those lobbies without stage 6s, setting up a particular way. Because it already beats dyno, you have some leverage to do well with this car and be able to run it hard, but then slow down at the end and beat people and hopefully maintain the lobby. But again, that's the negative of this car. Certainly, fully max, the 6.962 or whatever run, isn't going to do very well in hyper. There are way too many cars faster than you in hyper, so this car is not going to do well there. If you lobby edge the car on certain lobbies, such as, say, if you dyno 7.9 or 7.8 and run it in that lobby, you could always run 7.7, 7.6s. It's possible that the car will do well, but again, it tends to lobby poorly once you upgrade it that much. So this is one of those cars that it's just better to simply keep it in certain mid to not too slow lobbies either, but mid speed lobbies for live racing. Now, I've been talking a lot about live racing as I'm racing this car in showdown because I'm just right now trying to push my trophy count up towards that 1800 goal, and talking about just the showdown will probably be a short conversation. Now, what about showdown? How do you succeed here? As I was saying earlier, 6.9s is an absolutely needed number for you to really be competitive. If you're only running 7s, you're probably launching and shifting the car wrong. So what are we doing here to get 6.9s? 6.9s require you to get at least a perfect or late perfect launch, meaning you don't want to be early on the launch. If you're early, this car does not like it, and it will be slower. A dead-on perfect run with a perfect launch would be the best option. Now, theoretically, to get the absolute best runs, you're supposed to shift into second gear by 10 miles per hour. Your eyes will never catch that. Your reflexes will never catch that. It's literally instant second as far as I'm concerned. And then third gear is supposed to happen in, within a blink of an eye from there. So really what I'm doing is I'm launching perfect or late perfect, depending on how much I'm willing to wait. And then almost instantly to third and then nitrous. And then it's all deep good from there. That one I launched too late. Okay, you saw the launch needle when it happened. It was too late. That will hurt you. That's a 7-second run. You cannot launch too late. You cannot launch too early. Goldilocks is what it's important. And that's kind of the thing about this game. It's not hard to run cars in this game, but when it comes to fully maxed cars and getting the shift patterns just right, whether it's for the tournament or for showdown, that's where things actually require you to pay some attention. Otherwise, the game isn't really all that challenging from a grand scheme of things. But when you're trying to squeeze that little bit of performance out of the car, that's when things start to become a little more difficult. All right, let me jump out and back in. It looks like we're having a little problem getting opponents. Plus, I need fuel anyway, so this is a good chance to add it. And once I jump back in, the computer will hopefully find me somebody. Whoops. Oh, how did that happen? Okay, back in we go. I'm at exactly 1700. Okay, so I would like to try to get to 1800 before I stop. As you move up, obviously you're going to get more and more challenging opponents. So there's less and less margin of error. Remember, each time you lose, it depends on what the other guy's trophies are. If he's higher than you, even if you lose, it's not too bad. If his trophy's a lot lower than you, that's bad. You don't want to have lower trophy numbers beating you, because that really hurts. I'm going to lose this one. I'll tell you that right now. Why? I'm not far enough ahead of him. On the visuals with this game, if you're neck and neck, you're probably going to lose. Oh, that was very close. But I did lose that one, which is fine. You're going to lose some. And it wasn't my best run either. But the point is that as you get to 1700 range, you're going to face more and more opponents that are going to be good. But at the same time, if their trophy count's higher than yours and you beat them, see, I launched too early. I need to recalculate my brain here, because I'm doing things wrong. Now I'm going to get bumped down to like 1650s. That's not too bad. He was 1720. So the trophies I lost will be less than the trophy I gain. Okay, so the trophy I lose, I should say. So that's not a big deal. Okay, all right. Talking too much, not focused enough. Let me try to get my launch right. I need to launch later. What I did there was I launched too early, essentially jumping the gun a little on the launch because I launched too late before, and it's got me a little jittered. This one is still on the early side of launching, but it's good enough, I think, to get through. This should be a 6.98 range run. It's good enough. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. Oh, 6.965. Okay, I can't complain about that. That was really good. All right, so right there, that where I just launched right there, that is the sweet spot, it looks like, because that's probably my best run so far. Now, trying to get that sweet spot every single time is going to be tough. You're better off playing it safe, launching it slightly perfect or late rather than launching it early, but we'll try that again. Okay, so now I'm a little more focused, and I'm putting my efforts in, to try to run this car more cleanly. That one with a slightly different launch point still came in at 6.967. Okay, so as long as you're not early, you should be good. You don't want to be late either. Late is bad too. But within that little window of perfect is where you want to be. Some of you might be asking, how are you launching? Well, there are different ways to launch the car in the game. And the way I launch is basically timing the tap of the launch button. So as the countdown goes, I basically count to where I would normally release the needle to hit a perfect launch. Without the launch button, you would release the needle, right? It would land right on perfect given a certain time frame. What you're doing instead is, instead of releasing the needle, when you get to the point where the needle is supposed to be released, you're going to hit the launch button. It instantly dropped the needle to the point where it would have ended up had you released the needle. Okay, so it's this way you don't have to release the needle then hit the launch button, because then you're playing with a lot more variables. The thing about this is that in live racing with the launch button timing, there's a hair difference in the timing than when you release. So you kind of have to time it. I don't want to say late, but wow, 1907 guy against me. If he loses against me, he's going to be very upset. But if I win against him, I'm going to be very happy, which is going to be tough for me because he's probably going to be a very good player, and I'm going to win this. Oh, he's going to be very upset, because he's going to lose a decent chunk of trophies, whereas I'm going to gain a lot. Okay, so that almost pushed me over 1800 right there. All right, let's keep going. Let's get over 1800 first, and then we'll go from there. So that was a 1900 trophy guy that got matched against a 1700 plus trophy. When you have a high trophy, you don't want that. When you have a low trophy, you definitely want that if you can win. That was a huge trophy bump. And now the computer's like, man, you beat that guy, we may have to give you someone harder. Like now it's like, who are we gonna give to this guy? Let me see. 1848, that's closer to where I am. Okay, again, I'm still launching a little early. I need to be cautious of that. Okay, this time I'm launched slightly late. So the timing is tricky. I mean, when you're using the timing launch, you're still doing it by reflex, by calculated time, and you're watching, and that was a good run still. You're watching that countdown very carefully. I almost want to say, when you watch the countdown, you want to see there's a little flash, okay, on the numbers between each countdown. When I'm hitting the button is when I kind of, my eye first see that little red flash on the edge. The lettering is white, but there's a red flash on the edge, and that's what I'm really watching for, that little red flash. That's how I'm timing that one to launch the card. Plus, if you launch wrong, too early, too late, there's a good chance what'll happen is when you hit that first shift, the computer's going to say, nah, it's not going to do it. All right, so you might get needle hang, you might get other issues. That's where it becomes a real pain if you're trying to advance and then you're having problem with that. So let's take another run. Again, I mean, the problem with being up this high in trophy is you're going to get opponents that are really good, and then if you run into somebody who just happened to do it better than you, you're going to lose. And depending on how many trophies they have, you could lose a lot of trophies. Here, at least, it's a pretty fair match with trophies. So even if I lose, it's probably like less than 30 trophies. I can handle that. See how right there, I had a needle hang with the shift, and I lost by a big margin right there because of that. That's what I'm talking about. If you launch and you couldn't get the instant shift, that will kill the run. However, as I said earlier, because his trophy account and mine's pretty close to each other, it's not too bad. Also, notice my trophy range on my screen is completely different than the trophy range on the leaderboard. That is because, again, the leaderboard has a lag, and it's pretty bad. I mean, it happens a lot. And there was a time when I was losing trophies like crazy. It still didn't. Oh my God, now I gotta stop. Anytime my system starts to do this to me where I hit the button and it doesn't react, that was not a bad launch. But I couldn't get the, again, I couldn't get the instant shift that I normally would get, and I'm already down to 1808 trophies, so I'm dropping rapidly. It's time to take a break. So we're going to call it here for now, because I did reach my goal. In fact, I almost reached 1900, but a few hang-ups instantly kills the trophy count. What I'm going to do, and I do this all the time, is if I start to feel that it's not working with me for whatever reason, whether it's the device, whether it's me, usually it's you, it's not the device, just so you know. Be it stress, be it, whatever it may be, you're not doing as well, take a break. Go play something else in the game. come back and you'll be fine. But again, I reached my 1800 goal. We discussed a little bit about this car for live racing, for shifting and launching. The key is launching. Launching makes or breaks maxed cars. If you cannot launch it right, you will not run the times. So that is the main thing. And I like this car. I do enjoy using it when it is available for Showdown because it's relatively easy to drive, all things considered. So I hope you enjoyed that video of me making an 1800 trophy run in Showdown. I will, I guess, make a more detailed explanation video maybe at some point for live racing with this car. But the biggest thing, again, is people run this car too hard in live without full upgrades, without fully elite. And by the time they get the car to the point where it could be competitive, it is already ruined. That is why Supras are so easy to beat in live lobby. All right, I hope you liked the video. If you have any questions, feel free to make them in the comments. If you like the video, leave a like. If you like my channel and you like this kind of videos, subscribe, hit the bell, and you get notified when I put up new videos. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.